What happens when you've been through a lot, so much and so many times, reoccurring, recurring, repetitive, and you just want it to stop? What happens when you kept calling out for help, but everyone you ask for help are the reason to why you fall back again? What happens when you decide that you want to focus on yourself and then suddenly you decide to focus on everybody else except your soul? What happens when you decide to say, I'm gonna move on, I'm gonna do me, I'm gonna react, and then you're back again inside your bedroom, tolling and trolling and stopping yourself from being a wounded lion in the desert with no water and no food to feed on? What happens when you just decide to react and go all eruptive like the volcanoes that was dormant for 6 years, and then all of a sudden the magma just burns you inside? What happens when you decide to be like the ocean and just accept everything that comes into you while cleansing yourself on a daily basis? But the more you cleanse yourself, the more dirt they throw into you, and you're just tired of accepting and accepting and accepting, and the sun hits, and then you decide to burn the water and everything in it, and then the dew goes back to the sky, and then it rains, then the water comes back into the ocean. What happens when you just decide to be yourself and stop recommending every kind of healing procedure for everybody else except doing it for yourself? What happens when you just decide to go out of the country, out of the city, out of the town, out of the house, just be alone for 15 minutes without anyone disturbing your peace, and then you get a bunch of phone calls telling you how you've not been doing enough? What happens when you get tired of saying I'm okay after every conversation asking you how are you, because you know even when you relate you can't relate, and when you decide to actually state, it's no different from staying silent in your own accord? What truly happens behind the procedure of healing when it's just you and your soul and your God? What happens when you decide to give yourself space to breathe, space to recommend, space to reprimand, and space to just be who you are? What happens when healing is deceiving?